Billy, what's the adjustment process been like for you, just making the change from college to pro, and how's that kind of gone for you?
It's been great. I really have enjoyed it. I think, it always starts with the organization, the people you're working with every day. The staff's been great. Really enjoy those guys. They've been helpful. The players have been, really, really good. They've been great to work with. I think, coaching a hard-working team. One thing I respect about Durant and Westbrook is that those guys every day come in and work, and I think it's set a great tone for the rest of our team, because the rest of our team works really hard too. So, obviously the games are different. Someone said to me, what's been like the biggest adjustment, and I would say now that we're playing games and they're coming so quickly, it's very, very difficult in college, especially in non-conference, when you're going and playing against a team that your team's not familiar with. So the first advantage is these guys are very familiar with everybody in the league because they played against them. The second thing is their ability to retain scouting reports and pick things up through films and through communication is at a very, very high level. So a lot of times the drilling and the executing on the floor is not always needed because of their experience level. They can absorb and pick things up pretty quickly.
What's it like for you that your guys might know the league better than you do?
Well, I think that's been helpful, for me.
Though.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing I've always said, is I think for Kevin and Russell and Serge and even Nick Collison, these guys that have so many games under their belt and so many different experiences under their belt that I think that it's got to be a group effort. There may be some things that I'm seeing that I can mention to them that I can bring value, and there's things that they're certainly seeing in the court to say, Coach, this may be better to do this. So that's what you want to do, is be able to work together. And I would never want to take away or not utilize some of these guys' experiences and the amount of games these guys have played.
What's the experience been like for you coaching against so many of these guys you used to have? I think you faced Chicago already.
Yeah, it's been a little different.
Udonis.
Yeah, tomorrow. It's been different. One is they look a lot older than when I had them.
They'd say the same.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. And then I think the other thing too is just like looking at them and realizing, geez, I had the opportunity to coach them, look where they're at right now in their career, look at what they're doing, and I'm really happy for those guys because, quite honestly, if I didn't have the opportunity to coach some of these guys I had the opportunity to coach, I may not be standing here doing this right now.
Donovan was saying, you used to, I guess, call him Crab. That was the nickname for him.
Big Crab, yes.
The Big Crab.
Yes.
Yeah, he was, really giving you and Anthony Grant a whole lot of credit for helping him become who he is today. And I guess you guys remained close. You went to his wedding. And
the one thing I always admired about Udonis from day one is he was one of the greatest warriors I coached. He's an unbelievable competitor. He's one of those guys that can inject himself into a team and into a game, and he can find ways to do things on the court that's going to impact winning. And he's always been a guy that's willing to do a lot of things that a lot of other people are not willing to do. And I think that's what's always separated him. But you think about it, when he was in college, he was a big-time scorer. He scored a lot of points over a 4-year period for us. I mean, he was a monster low-post scorer. And he gets up to the NBA and he's really not. And he had to evolve. And that's the one thing that's always great with him, is he's capable of evolving because he's smart and he knows how to impact the team and how he can provide value.
How often do you still check in with your former college guy?
When I see them now traveling around, like a lot of times now being in this, like in the summertime when I would see them, a lot of times they'd come through Gainesville when I was there, so I'd see them. I talked to them on the phone. Not a whole lot. More kind of like seeing him after games, before games. Al, before the game against Atlanta, came into the locker room, the coach's locker room, to say hello to myself and Anthony. So it was good to see him, and I'm sure I'll get a chance to see Udonis, tomorrow.
Billy, what's the job change been like for you personally after living in Gainesville for so long?
I think that was probably the part that I don't want to say apprehensive or concerned, but like uncertainty, because I realized, having a relationship with Jeremy for 19 years, his whole staff being there for 19 years, same academic advisor for 19 years, same couple secretaries, same strength coach, same trainer. So you got these incredible relationships that are built in, you're bonded into, that you're saying, okay, I'm leaving all this and now I'm walking into an environment I don't really know these people at all. How are these relationships going to flourish? And I think that was probably, if anything, the uncertainty I had. But after, dealing with Sam and dealing with the people in the building and the coaching staff, like, it's been unbelievable to me. That's been great. Like, I enjoy working with everybody I work with every day, and that's, you know, I think the hardest part for anybody in a job where it requires a lot of hours is to go to work every day and not enjoy the people you're working with, or you're working with people you don't feel like you have a common vision or a common goal or theme. Like, I feel that way here. That's been the great part for me. Like, our coaching staff's on the same page. Dealing with the players has been great. The front office, people in the building, medical people. That, like, I didn't know if I was ever going to recapture that again. You know, I did, and that was, you know, I just didn't know. I mean, when I talked to Sam during this process, it wasn't like he said to me, like, what is he going to say? We got great people. You know, who's going to say anything different? And after meeting him and spending time with him, he was right, you know. So I think because I think Sam laid everything out, was very open and honest with me about everything, there hasn't been like any surprises where I said, geez, I really didn't expect any of this.
This work-wise, though, personally, I mean, your family was really rooted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think, you know, my two oldest are still back there. One's finishing up school, the other one's coaching, and the two younger ones came, and I think it's been good for them. You know, it's been good for them to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, have to make new friends and do different things. I said this to somebody, you know, it's interesting, you know, you're at a place for 19 years, and in my relationship with my wife, it's so easy for her to live her life because she's comfortable. I'm working in Florida. But it's actually forced us to evaluate and look at ourselves as we continue to grow in our relationship and try to get better, you know, and try to evolve as a husband and a wife, you know, where maybe you wouldn't have a chance to do that at the level now if you would have stayed there. So there's been a lot of really interesting things that I think if you look a little deeper, that there's an opportunity for great growth. For me personally as a coach and as a husband, as a father, and for my kids, there's great growth of getting out of a comfort zone and coming into a new city. So there's been a lot of things, if you look deep, I think the experience can be very, very valuable away from just coaching basketball games.